Welcome back to the Next Session podcast. Today we got Demi Babalola on. What do you think of the conversation we just had with Demi?
Yeah, it was interesting. It's good seeing what he thought about a few things, like some things about like pressure and stuff, and how he deals with that. It's good to know about his stage trip and stuff like that.
Yeah, it's definitely got a lot of insight, that we didn't know. But,
So, you just came back from the States. I'm wondering, you came back from the States?
Yeah, it was a good experience. I got to speak to her. I played like 4 times. Spoke to a few coaches there. The experience overall, it wasn't like fun. I feel like
Right, okay.
like just business. Like you go in there and you do something and then you come back.
Oh, what do you mean by business?
We didn't really. The only like entertaining bit I would say was like going to watch the NBA game.
Yeah.
That was quite cool.
Is it better than watching the British League? That's a good question.
No, it wouldn't. Because my seats were like there was no seats higher than. That's to tell you.
I bet it's still expensive for one of the seats.
The seats, I'm not sure, but
You've got to go down and get close to the
I
players.
went down. What's his name? The light skinned guy from Philadelphia. Like really good looking.
Kelly Oubre
Jr. He looked at us.
He did not look at him.
And we were on the jumbotron.
Oh, wait, what was you watching? For what?
They just put us on.
Just put us on there.
And then
We've got some special guests.
but they aren't as tall as I thought they were. Like they're not crazy tall. Like VJ Edcombe, like my height. He's like this is 6'6".
Oh, he's kind of small, man.
They're massive.
They're all massive. Like Joe Embiid is huge.
Oh yeah, he sent me a
He's like his thighs is like pause, but like it's ridiculous. It's huge guy.
Wow.
And the basketball was like all right.
Oh yeah, what was the game like? Did you see like a big difference?
I was in a bad mood because I spent $50 on popcorn, but there wasn't like a crazy difference. They could shoot a lot better, like very far, and they were making them. But overall, I thought like it was just basketball. I thought the defense wasn't as good as I thought it would be.
There's a preseason game,
The opening night.
Opening night.
Home for Boston, and they lost by like 2. But I thought the defense wasn't very good.
Okay. Did you see any D1 or D2 practices when you were over
there?
Yeah.
So
what do you see the big difference there? Because obviously that's where a lot of people seem to want to be going and stuff.
We went to Boston College. It was like a high major D1, and like it's like everything's like so intense. Like from before even training starts, it's so loud. Like they're all shouting. They went to the gym before, then they had film, and then they have training. And like the actual training itself was a light one because they were playing a game the next day, and it was mainly on scout. They were playing Yale on like exhibition game, and it was so intense. Like I was shocked. I thought it was like this is a proper training. It's like no, this was a light one.
Yeah.
Because they work on scout, and everyone's just so loud. And the coaches are just screaming for no reason. They're just screaming.
Positive stuff.
Like I couldn't really hear it because like you can't hear one person. It's just so loud. Like because even all the players are shouting all sorts of stuff. 3 coaches are shouting something else. The head coach is like shouting at the same time.
Yeah.
So it's like they're all in like different groups. And then when they come in, like when they're actually playing, like everyone's shouting as well.
Yeah. Well, how do you think you get that in our program? Because I always wonder that, like, why does it take going to somewhere like that to have that sort of standard?
Yeah.
How do you get that in an English program and stuff?
Well, I think there's also a factor like it's very difficult to get into those type of programs. Like you can only and to go there on a scholarship, to have your own full-time trainers, physios, food. They have like food downstairs. They have their own rooms and locker rooms. They even have like rims for like when they want to work out. Like when they shoot, the moment they walk in, like face recognition, so they can tell who's in. And the moment, like every shot you take, like the way it misses, the way it goes in, is like all shown on a big screen at the end.
Oh, wow.
It's given to. They're like there's like each coach for like each like there's like 3 coaches for like each position. So like God wings, and like it gets sent to your coaches and yourself. So like throughout, it's like tracked how well you shoot. Like even if you're just shooting like 20 minutes, it's tracked. Like everything's tracked. So like there's a lot of people that would kill to be in that type of position. So you can't like take it for granted. That's how I feel. Like it felt like very. It gave that type of vibe. Like they were all dying to be there. Like,
Well, yeah, but I guess if someone was messing around or not taking it serious, they would just be out.
it would just be
They
out.
would just
And
be
like,
out.
for you to waste the opportunity just because you don't want to put the effort in. And I'm sure they want to put a lot of effort in just to get there. So, I'm sure it's just a lifestyle at that point.
Yeah, maybe we should do that at our club.
Like,
You messing around, get out.
Oh, I think it face recognition. But
That would be good.
Obviously, there's more people in America, so it's harder to get in those type of places.
Yeah, and there's everyone outside of America that wants to also get into
Everyone
those
there,
places.
yeah, exactly.
So that must be tough.
Yeah. So it was a eye-opening. And then I visited like a D3 JUCO. That wasn't as good. They were not very good.
In what way? Standards are?
Overall standards and like just the way they trained.
Yeah.
It was like just night and day compared to but it's expected, but
Yeah, I would see that, yeah.
did you see any of like the actual like campus, or did you just see the like?
Did I see the campus? Yeah.
Like, did you see like all like the classrooms and stuff, and, like the education side of it? Like, what was that like compared to like over here?
I don't fully understand how the education works in America, because like there's some universities that have they're like a liberal arts uni or college, that's what liberal arts college. So they don't believe in like taking like one subject, like you only take business and that's it. They want you to be like well versed in different things. So you probably take a major in one class and a minor or a few minors in different classes. So with those type of like with the really good colleges that we went to, like I visited Yale, and you just can't walk around like all of Yale because it's that big. Like it was like, so even some of the prep schools that I went to, they had like art museums in the prep school. We were walking past the hallway and there's an aquarium like in the side of it where fishes are. And I'm like, how does that work? So
How does that work?
no, but how does that work? But like, why? Like, it's just like
A lot of
Yeah, why
space.
do you need an aquarium?
Yeah, I guess, but it's definitely different from Laurel. Like the scale of everything is different from Laurel. No.
No, which is a shame.
And then like some of the facilities there, like top end, like we went to this is a high school where they don't even have weights. They use like air compressed like equipment. So like there's a setting and like the air compresses in a way like it's basically like moving 40 kg or something like that. And I didn't even know that existed either. Do you get what I'm saying? And like every training, there's stuff like tracked and like. It's just,
I guess that's the difference though, because like here, that's part of like the high school, and like that's probably coming out of the high school funding and the gym, compared to like here where it's like, I won't say basketball's taken as seriously, like, or like the gym work side of it. It's kind of just like educational based, and sports kind of like a hobby, like an afterthought. Like they don't really work hand in hand. It's kind of like you do your education, and then in your free time you can go do your sport and sort that out yourself. Compared to like trying to work together like that they do out in America, like the high schools and stuff.
I think it's just because in America they just take it more seriously because, like the school does earn like a lot of money because the community, not just like the parents and the students, like people around that area come to watch that high school and they like buy tickets, they buy food, all that. So it does fund the school. So of course, like it makes sense that they take it seriously.
Well, it's a business. Isn't it?
It's a business, so
especially now with the money that athletes can get, it's a massive business.
So it was.
I do wonder though, like, because I feel like everyone thinks that when they get there, they've made it.
And a lot of the time, it's not the case.
No, definitely.
Like you go to the States, you've not made it. You've still got crazy amount of effort to do.
Yeah.
I'm wondering, after seeing all that, how has that affected you coming back and how's that going to change your mentality?
On the basketball side, I felt like it was the rules are a bit different, which I was trying to. The rules are like there's no like there's like a 3 defensive second violation, so you can't stay in the key for 3 seconds, which was I got caught for that a lot.
Yeah.
So it's very weird. And over there they're a lot more physical.
Yeah.
Which I don't know how to explain, but like they all crush every like offensive rebound like a different way than they do here. And you know, the way the basketball side was less eye-opening than like the academic side. It was how important the academic side can be to go into somewhere good. Now I feel like, you know, I kind of understand like there's more weight behind how good your grades are, because you know if you have good grades and you're also good at this specific sport, then it can really help you like go far. That's what I thought. Like, a lot of the schools that I talked to, like, you know, spoke about grades, and you know even when it comes to like some of like the Ivy League schools, like if you're good at basketball and your grades are okay, you can end up going to somewhere like amazing, you know, just for working hard at both ends.
Yeah.
But I feel like you definitely shouldn't like think basketball is more important than grades.
Yeah. Well, I think most of the time people that have gone from here, they're normally part education based, part sport based.
Yeah.
So people aren't getting people think they're getting full rides, but it's not full ride on basketball.
Yeah.
It's, you know, they're getting things paid for because they've got good grades.
Yeah.
I can't remember anyone that we've sent personally where their grades are bad and they've just gone
because of basketball.
Just because of basketball. Now people have done that and gone to very, very low programs and stuff, but I've never seen anyone go to anywhere like you guys all crave about D1 and stuff. I've never seen that. I've never seen someone bad.
Yeah.
I think that's a big problem with like the UK though. Like no one really like, closely like clubs and schools are pretty separate here. But I feel like no one really speaks about that. Like we make an emphasis on it that like your grades have to like stay up for you to stay here and like definitely be in a balance. But I feel like it don't really get spoken about a lot. Like they kind of just like work separately, and you'd think like, especially more on the basketball side, that they'd be more interested in like the children's education if they want to get them further. Like you can work on the ability as much as you want. And you see it like when you watch like the Netflix programs, like Last Chance U, like people who've worked so hard with the basketball and got great, but then like the grades have let them down because like they haven't had that support or like anyone to like correct them on it, and then they just like their sole focus becomes basketball and getting better at that, and they kind of like neglect the grades. So you'd think like the coaches there would focus more on the grade side and making sure they got them both in lane.
Yeah, but for the coaches thing, it's hard to know what grades you guys are getting, and it's hard to stay in contact because obviously when you're in a coaching situation, you've got what, 15, 16 lads? They could all go different schools. They cannot. So it is hard to keep a tab on that.
Yeah. I'm not saying like obviously like, because like for some places that are like, say like you play for a club really far away from like wherever you go to school, like in some cases in the UK, that's probably not possible to like always stay in contact with everyone. But I mean like just as a coach to make an emphasis on it to your team, like just overall the country as well, like just basketball England, like making sure like you gotta make sure like your grades are like meeting your basketball standards. Otherwise, you can't have one outweigh the other because then the other will hold you back. Like it's important to keep both up. And like just making an emphasis on that at a younger age so everyone like kind of understands what like they need to do to like get to these places that they want to go, instead of just like you need to get better at basketball such and such. And maybe that's not as true and that's a bit misleading. Like Demi said, that you don't really understand until you actually speak to them how important it truly is to have those grades. And it's kind of like eye-opening a bit.
Yeah. But then I do wonder, like, okay, there's a kid there and he's not the smartest guy, but he tries in school. These guys can still get places. It's not like you have to be straight A's. You just have to be doing your best for what you're capable of.
Yeah.
But I don't feel like sometimes, and you guys might, I don't feel like we almost structure everything where you would have time to do both.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's almost like it's just basketball.
Yeah, I agree with that one. Cause I would like yesterday I'll get home at like 10:30 because we finished training at 10. So it's like, you know, next week if I have to get up at like 9 in the morning for school, or like if I have a 9 a.m. lesson, I'll get up at like 6:30. So like that, like me the possibility of me doing any work or anything after it's gone. And like most times, that whole day, I'm in school and then S&C and then film and then so I feel like this is more an issue because it's on the men's team where guys have work and then school and then after work it's kind of like after you're done with work is over. After school, you still have responsibilities outside of school. You still have to study. You still have to do your homework, and you still have to catch up with stuff if you missed anything. So I feel like that side is it's not the best.
I feel like also like the thing is like people say like in America like, oh, they train multiple times a day and stuff and they still find time with it. But I also think the easier thing for them is that like everything's together. So they don't have to like travel. And I think a lot of our times actually not spent doing stuff, it's more just like traveling to things like, and then on that travel it's a lot harder to then do your studying and stuff like, you know, getting to college in the morning, that's like a while, and then getting home from like training or wherever it may be, you know. And I feel like that spends a lot of time, and then like where you do it and like the environment you're in. Because like the athletes, maybe like when you play at high school, after training you could just go to the library in your high school or study centre or whatever they have there. Compared to like here, and we don't have that as much. And it's just like I think that difference of like finding a balance there, and like the time within your day, of going between your places and like stuff like that to then find time to revise. And like sometimes you might even get an assignment due the same week, and then that's tough because it's like, well, I got training after college and tomorrow, but the day I normally do it, it'd be too late. And then like obviously some teachers understand, some don't, and then that's pretty difficult. But yeah.
How do you guys deal with it then? Because obviously there's everyone going through different ones. Obviously a lot of guys that are at the club, they're at primary school not getting too much. High school it's getting a bit more, and then college it gets a lot more. So how do you guys find the time?
Yeah, I definitely think planning ahead's a big one because like I said, like sometimes you get the odd homework that'll just be like during a couple of days, but that's pretty rare. Normally it's kind of like structured a bit, and it's like definitely like planning ahead, like all right, when can I find time? And then it's not just that; it's actually like when it comes to that time, being able to motivate yourself because it's pretty difficult when you see like you know like your college friends who aren't on the team, and they're just like able to relax or just go home and like do whatever. But then for you to then get that motivation to then like do your revision and then get to training, it's a lot harder when you're seeing everyone else's life. That may appear easier and like they have more time to then motivate yourself in that time when they'd be resting and you want to then get the motivation to actually do your work. And like, or like say you've planned that you're going to do some after practice, but you just like burn out at practice and you're tired. It's then like when you're getting home, forcing yourself to get up and actually stick to that program you made and not just thinking, oh, I'll do it another time because it like backlogs and messes it up. So yeah, I'd definitely say like planning and being able to like motivate yourself to actually like do it when you've planned to do it and like pushing when you don't want to.
Yeah.
Like get out of your comfort zone a bit.
So what should kids do? Should they actually like write the plan down? Should they have it somewhere where they can see it, or do you just kind of think, well, I'll do work on Thursday? Oh,
I think writing down would be the best thing. Maybe I should do a bit more of that myself.
yeah,
Like I definitely like if I like set like a time I'm gonna do something. Most of the time I'll be with like the people on my team, so I'll maybe like communicate it to them. It'll be like, oh, I'm not gonna be here Thursday lunch. I'll be at the library, and then that's kind of like you kind of like remember because like I can't do too much in advance because like you never really know. Like basketball can change a lot, and like so can college. But it's like going like maybe just like at the start of your week, for instance, and then you'll kind of remember throughout the week I got it here. But definitely writing it down would probably help a lot more, or setting a reminder or something.
yeah. Going on from that, what you said about motivation, do you feel like your motivation changes a little bit as you get older? And what still keeps you guys motivated? Because you're saying all this stuff that it's tough and you've got work here and stuff. So what does keep you motivated to go and do it and keep pushing?
I feel like since I've started like playing basketball, I've had like a lot of good opportunities have come from that. And I've always thought like the harder I work, the more good things that like come from it. So I feel like I still have that same mindset. Like even if the work increases, I feel like something good will come from it. If I revise well, if I revise a lot, not fun, but I'll get good grades. That good grades can help me go to a good university, it can help me get a good job. So, at the end, it's not about like how I feel now, it's about how it's going to be like in the future. So that's kind of what motivates me, I guess.
I'd say like what kind of got me into it. Like I like this sport for a reason. Like, I can't really say why, but like I like this sport. I've been doing it a long time, and it's kind of like sometimes you like lose sight of it, but like deep down, like if I tried stopping, I don't think I'd be able to actually like stop. Like I actually do really like this sport, even though you like sometimes don't see it like that in the moment. And I think that motivation, like also I think being around everyone, not in the same situation, but in similar, like some of the people on the team are like my closest friends. Like seeing everyone in that situation, that kind of motivation as well. Because you see them doing it, and it's like that's a bit of motivation as well. Like if they can do it, I can do it as well. And like, because like we want to do it, like we can see the results that we'd get from what we're gonna do. Like Demi said, if you revise, you'll get the better grades. If you put the effort in, you're gonna like succeed more, get better opportunities. And like sometimes stuff like you might think, oh, I can't revise right now, I'm too tired. But like seeing others able to do it, it like changes your mindset a bit more. Like I can, like they're doing it. I just gotta like push through it. And like also like looking up to like we've had a couple like people older in the club and seeing their success from it and them doing it also gives you a bit of motivation. Like I can do it as well. I just gotta like get past that like mental barrier that I can't. And yeah, I'd probably say that's what like motivates me.
Yeah, that moves on to another question I had about now that you guys are like top age. How much sort of responsibility do you take for like showing the younger guys what you should be doing? How much do you try and help them develop, or do you kind of feel like that's not really your job and it's more just focus on yourself? And if they see it, they see it. If not, then
I mean, it's pretty tough. That's a tough question because I think you don't realize your impact on other people, especially get older. Like I still kind of see everyone as like the same as I saw us back in like under 14s when we was the young ones in the club. And you don't really realize, I don't know, the younger people watching you or what like effect you do would have on them. Like you don't really see it yourself. And I feel like that like how we used to see our under 18s and like academy players and men's players is probably how they saw us. And like I feel like you just need to come to a realization of like what you actually do has a bigger impact, and you can actually make like a better change or motivate them more from like what you're doing, and maybe making more of an effort for them to see it instead of just like. I feel like no one here leads by bad example. It's just we lead by a good example, but we don't like show it. Like we don't make an effort for them to see it. It's just kind of like we do it, and as long as we're not doing the wrong thing, we're not showing them the wrong thing. Instead of like going to try and show them like what to do, and like be more like open and like interactive with the younger ages, like leading them down a better path. I think that's more of a responsibility of like our age, and we should do a better job of that.
I might have a different view because I kind of agree to some point because obviously I have a little brother Tim, he watches me play.
yeah,
Unless I watch him, I'll be like, bro, you can't do this. Like, you can't like start crying after you miss a layup, and you'll be like, I swear I just watched your game and you just did that. So I don't want to be a hypocrite and be like the type of guy that tells people they need to do this, but I don't act that way. And in that way, I think you should be a good example when you're in the terms of like correcting people or like correcting like the younger age group. Well, to some degree, I feel like they also have some responsibility to go out their way, to look for an example. It's not every example that I feel like you should listen to. It's not just because they're older than you means that they know something. Doesn't mean that what they're saying might be the best thing. I feel like if it was Timmy, I would want him to look for good examples in the club.
yeah,
I would want him to reach out to people, not just me. I want him to reach out to like other people and be like, oh, how can I improve this? How can I improve that? The more time, when you're younger, you have more time. And you have more time to realize these things. So, you have more time to understand, why certain guys do this, why they don't do this, how you can add that to your game. And I feel like if from a young age you're able to like really understand that, and like try to implement that, then I think those are like the habits that help you as you go forward. But I think there should also be some responsibility on the younger guys, like you have to step out of that like comfort zone of just watching, and you have to like go out of your way to be active and be proactive towards that.
What you're talking about there, that like their skill set getting better.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, I understand that. I mean, in coaching, there's a big thing about being a hypocrite, and a lot of coaches, they shout and stuff, and some people get a good result and some people get a bad result. Because if two coaches are shouting, but one coach does everything the right way, he's always on time, he's always planned, he's always proper, and the player sees that, right, okay, this guy, he's into it, he knows what he's talking about, he's trying, then people will accept criticism and being shouted at. Oh, maybe you shouldn't have to shout at him, but you know what I mean. Where the other guy's screaming and shouting, but his standards are really bad. So when you're saying about like Timmy, I'm asking him stuff, and he can come back at me with, well, you're not doing it. Well, does that not put into your mind where you're thinking, all right, maybe I should be a better example?
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I'm not saying I should be perfect, but I do have an impact on a lot of people.
Yeah.
It's not just Timmy. You know, it makes sense. It's a lot of people at the club.
Yeah.
So when you're a bigger player and you're like the biggest on the team, but you want to develop guard skills, that seems to be across the board, every age group. You've always got bigger bodies. I wonder how you went about it, developing your guard skills, and do you think there's a barrier in British basketball, especially for bigger players actually developing?
Yeah. I think you see, like when I went to America, you have like legitimate like 6'8", 6'9" guys, and they like bring the ball up and they're coming up pick and rolls, and you can kind of tell they've done it for a while. And I could think that might be because, it's this kind of thought ahead, maybe, not everyone, like me, I was like I've grown like 2 inches since I was like 14.
Mm-hmm.
So not everyone like goes ahead into being like 6'8" and 6'9", where they don't have to play that position. And even then, I feel like there's an advantage to being a taller player that has a lot of skills and is like versatile on offense as well as defense. But I think in the British like system, or just from what I know, it is quite difficult. Like it's like you're trying to like put out a case for why I should get better. It's kind of like why would you when there's someone else that's better than you at it, that can mainly do this. It's like, why don't you just like set the screen and do what you're going to be better at? But I feel like there needs to be some like give or take. I feel like I've messed up many times, more times than Harley's messed up in doing coming off certain guard actions. But that's part of the process. Like the same way Harley or Nate or any of the other guys that we have, the same way they went through it when they were like younger, when they started out, is the same way a bigger guy has to. But because he's a bigger guy, it's like, well, you'd be better at this, so why would you not just go to what you're good at? But I feel like there has to be some like understanding of there's a bit more of an advantage to learning how to get better at those skills. And I don't think a bigger guy should, take the responsibility of a guard that's better than him. Because whether they're 6'4" or like 5'10", if someone will help the team better in this position, then as a team collective, it makes more sense for this person to do a certain action because that's most likely going to help the team more.
Yeah.
But I feel like, especially from a junior standpoint, maybe not in like the professional league, but when you're developing, the aim is to also get better as well. If someone's not good at shooting, you wouldn't tell them to never shoot at like 14 or 15, just because they're not good at shooting then. Just because there's two guys that are better at shooting, it doesn't mean you always pass the ball. If you're wide open, you should take that shot because at the end of the day, you're trying to get your shot better as well. You're trying to understand how to shoot in game and like get that rhythm. But it's kind of looked down on as a bigger guy, which I understand. Sometimes I go through again, I'm like, why is Abraham bringing the ball up, man? But it's the same. I feel like there needs to be a bit of understanding when it comes to that because, when I went to America, everyone's top. Like the girls were my height,
Yeah.
So you get put in that position where it's like, if I really try to develop like being a guard from a younger age, I like continue like going through that, because it is hard like trying to fight with people. Like let me come off this one screen. Let me like try and in practices. We're not like in a game in practice. So I do think there is a barrier between it, and I feel like if you really want it, really want to get better at it, you're gonna have to do some in your own time, so you don't hold your team back. But you also are gonna have to, just how it is, you're gonna have to eventually, fight and like try and get your own way to getting 1 or 2 reps in, so that you're actually getting in that like actual life experience.
Yeah, I always feel like when the bigger bodies are doing that though, they work on the wrong stuff.
Yeah.
So like they just say they want to be a guard, and I just see them stood at the 3-point line just jacking up threes, and that's what they're doing in practice. Like, oh, that's what the guards do.
Yeah.
Like, I don't ever see a bigger body coming in. He's working on his passing out pick and roll, or off any sort of screen, or just off a drive. I very rarely see him working on the perimeter footwork. Everything's always from already bouncing the ball and just shooting. And I feel like bigger guys need to understand what the guards are actually doing sometimes, and what you need to get better at. Like, it's not just do a million crossovers. It's being able to come off this efficiently with your head up, having more control. It's not about, like, some of our guards, they're not flashy guards. They're just doing the right stuff, and being able to get your head up and make the right reads and stuff. Now, that does take reps, but it also takes a skill set that I don't think, like, some people understand when. So I see you're quite lucky because you're in a program where they are trying to develop more of a skill set. But there'll be a kid that's watching that's like, yeah, but I just get stuck in the post.
Yeah.
For him, it would be hard, but if he goes away and works on the right stuff, in his team, he might never ever do it. But he has at least the capability of doing it when he gets the opportunity. So I do feel like it's a tough one.
I also think there's like less leeway. Like if you're trying, like, I think there's a big difference between like if I come off a pick and roll and make a turnover, it's like, oh, that must have been tough. Like, don't worry about it. But then if maybe like Demi's trying at the beginning and he makes that exact same mistake I did, I think the reaction would be like totally different. And like it'd be like, oh, you just clearly can't do it. Just go back to setting the screen. Compared to where it's like a bit more, if I mess up, it's like what I did wrong, try again. And I feel like there's a bit less welcomingness from like the smaller guys as well as like the coaches, like to the bigs, like trying to help him, like correct him differently and telling him, like giving him the confidence to do it again instead of like shutting him down and like, see, this is why I told you shouldn't have done it. He said, like, maybe next time try this and don't be afraid to do it again. Like, that's kind of the treatment we'd get if we messed up off it. And like, I'd also say in the UK, I think there's a lot less looking into the future for like the bigger guys. Like Demi said, like he's grown like 2 inches since he was under 14s. Like under 14s, we was probably thinking, wow, Demi's gonna be like 7'4", like in the high, like 6 foot somewhere. But like he wasn't. And like luckily for him, like he got to like develop his skill set from a younger age. But some of those guys, like you see maybe at the under 15 level, it's like, okay, he's like 6 foot, he's probably going to be tall. Let's just work on his post footwork now because that's what he's going to use when he's older and we'll get him good. Like they're trying to make him better and prepare him, but they're not always thinking for like every possibility that he might not grow like at all. And then like what's he been left with? He's now an undersized big, and that's limited his potential compared to if he tried working on a bit of both. Because like Demi said, you don't want to hold the team back if he can help us, if he had better post footwork. But then also at the same time, you could work on maybe his ball handling, and you never know, like he could transition into like one of your smaller players. So like I think them looking more into the future and like being more open-minded to the possibilities of people stopping growing, because we never really know. And then not like trying to limit him to like that one role from young.
Yeah, I mean, we were talking about this as coaches before, where it's like, why do some people get to stay on and make a million mistakes, and why do some people come on and they do like 2 or 3 and they have to come off? And a lot of the time, it's because the guy that's making a million mistakes, he's also providing something else. So he's providing rebounds, his defense is amazing, he's this, he's that. For the guy that comes on and he only makes like 3 mistakes, he's not really done anything else. I do think if you're a bigger body and you're in that situation, make sure everything else is good. And then if you make sure that you're still effective everywhere else,
then you do get some leeway when you come on stuff. You do. I feel like why people feel like they're on a tight leash and why they get benched is because the one thing they're trying is the only thing you do. I think if you add more to your game, you get to stay on longer. And that's my thought for obviously the coaches that just drag people off or keep people on for whatever reason. But I do think that if people are helping the team, you get more leeway. If you're not really providing much for the team then and you're making a lot of mistakes, then what's the point of having you on the floor?
Over someone who might be short but would bring more to the team.
Yeah, over the person, like, we've got loads of guys, and I don't need to mention names, but it's like, guys that we almost have, they can come on and they can shoot, even though they don't want to shoot, they could shoot whatever they wanted, and I'd just keep them on. And then there's other guys that are kind of the shooters, and they put up their shot, but they're missing the shot, they just sit down. Because if you're only a shooter, and you're missing the shot, then why have we got you on?
Yeah.
But if you're a shooter that also is the best defender, and is also getting rebounds, and also doing this, it's like, you're adding more, aren't you, to the team? It's like, the Myers-Coe game, when people won't think, but the Myers-Coe game where you're pulling down like 7 or 8 rebounds or whatever, I don't really think. You get to stay on more because
you've been over a few times. That makes sense. I'm sure a lot of coaches probably think like that.
Yeah.
So I think it is good. Saying that though, with like the bigger bodies, Demi, and like, one way of helping the bigger bodies sometimes is playing up. Because obviously, like when you play up, the height obviously goes up a little bit. Hopefully, you drop down a few spots. So that I wonder what the pressure is like when you play up. Because like if I played up a little bit, yeah, but I was very young down, and I know when I played up when I was very young, and I was playing with some, that really hurt my confidence. It made me like always second guess everything. What are these people thinking? I have no idea what they're like because I was doing it when I was like in primary school with high school kids. Like the world's totally different. I'm wondering from a junior going into a senior level, what that sort of step's like, because that's something I've never obviously done.
I think it is difficult, especially at first. Like even I understood, like when in training, I was probably one of like out of the guys playing up, I was probably the slowest guy to like get used to it.
Yeah.
Or like to try, like understand like the level of physicality and how to play. But I think you have to like lean more towards what you're good at than what you're bad at. I feel like there's more leeway when you're younger, because you can drive one twice. You probably shoot over someone, but it's not like that against guys who are older than you as well. They've played for some guys played longer than I've been alive. So it's like how do you like balance that? Why would I take a shot over someone else who's just like way older and like way more experienced than me? And I feel like there's a few things you need to have if you want to play like up. I feel like you need to have like some level of confidence in yourself. Like, regardless what like someone tells you, you need to understand like you're here for a reason. You wouldn't play up if they no one thought you should play up. That just wouldn't work. So you have to have that level of confidence, and you have to not play like you're playing up. You have to play like you're just as your teammate. You have to play like you've been here for as long as your teammate has been, or you have to understand that you are part of the team. It's not the guys playing up and then the team. You're just all the team. And I think once you first have that confidence, then you can get into like trying to be more physical when you play. Then you can get on like what you can bring to the team and what you can bring to the team. Like if you're playing down, you can maybe shoot more shots, or you can maybe turn the ball over a few more times. Also, you might have a larger leash compared to when you're playing up. And you need to understand like what you bring to the team when you're playing up might not be what you bring to the team in your actual age group. So trying to understand the difference can be confusing, and trying to understand how to balance that and how to like switch between the two can be confusing. But I feel like if you always have some things that you bring no matter what, like you're always gonna try and play good defense, you're always trying to like talk, you're always gonna try and box out, like those like fundamental things that you can bring to every team, then I feel like it's gonna be easier. And that's how I first looked at it.
Yeah,
And then when it comes to like, what people say and like what people are gonna say, like no matter what you do, even if you weren't playing up, people are gonna speak. Like as long as you get on the court, people are gonna speak. Even if you don't get on the court, people are gonna speak. And I feel like once you accept that you just kind of have to deal with it. There's gonna be pressure. No matter what you do, because at the end of the day, you're taking some people like to play up, and at the end of the day, you're taking that spot from them. So you have to understand that what they say shouldn't affect you, especially if it's like a negative thing that's just trying to bring you down. What they say shouldn't affect you because you earned it, and you're still earning it. So I think if you have that confidence and you have that mindset, then that's one way that can help you playing up. As a coach, do you think it's harder coaching like I won't say senior, but like older guys compared to like the younger, like the really young age groups?
Well, I've never coached senior basketball.
Yeah.
I've only coached junior basketball. I've said, I think I might have even said it on the last pod, but I don't ever see myself ever coaching senior basketball. I think senior basketball just gets really boring, and it just becomes X's and O's. I just don't see myself. I see myself as a junior coach, and yeah, I do feel like it gets tougher because when they're younger, they almost just hang on your every word instantly. Now, obviously, you have to be saying the right stuff because they can't smell if it's wrong. But when people get older, I think the main thing is when the people are getting older, they've got more on than just basketball. But when, say, you get a kid at under 12 or under 14, he's solely there. His whole purpose almost in life is basketball. Yeah. So anything coach says or anything team does, that's the thing that he takes. And you'll be surprised how many times what you've said goes home. And they're telling the mum about it, and they're telling the dad about it, and it's almost like you're almost having an impact on the kid's life a lot more than you think with things that you're saying. Now, obviously, that's positive a lot of the time, but there is some negative which you have to be aware of. Yeah, but I do feel like at the younger age, you've just got their ear more. Joe always used to say that, like when you've got a player's ear, it's vital. Like if they'll just listen to you. And they should never take everything you say as gospel, but like if something's right and I'm saying it, they'll just go with it. Where with the 18s, you'll get a bit more like they're not quite, and again, I know you guys too are under 18s, yeah, but they're not quite as like that because they're starting to develop a bit more self-awareness and they'll question things more, which is a good thing. You should question, you should ask, there should be a why. But basketball sometimes when people get older isn't everything. It's one of the many things I do. So that becomes tough, and I do find it very tough to deal with that sometimes because in my little world, basketball and coaching is kind of still almost everything. So it's like, well, why are you not quite as focused and thinking like that? I'm this. So I almost kind of expect everyone else, but not everyone else should be like that. I don't think that's a healthy way of being. So I do think you have to sort of deal with that a little bit. And I struggle a little bit with it, but I do think there's still good, positive things about coaching older ones, and there's still positive things about coaching the little ones. In the end, it's just coaching. You're just trying to make everyone better, I think.
Do you think, like, do you factor in, because I know a lot of other academies do it, so like, do you factor in like first years and second years? So like, do you think just because someone's older, or like maybe because of experience or something like that, they should maybe play more because it's their last year playing or something like that?
No, I think you should get judged completely on merit of what you're doing. I think if you can help the team, why would you sit on the bench because you're a first year? It doesn't make sense. Now, saying that a lot of the time, and again, this is only my first year doing under 18s, but I've been around 18s, assisted 18s and stuff. A lot of the time, first years struggle a little bit sometimes. So I understand that and why maybe they don't play as much because they've got a bit more nerves than, say, maybe a second year that's done it before. So you are still kind of learning. But if there's a first year that's, doing well, they will get to play. And just because you're a second year, it doesn't mean anything. I think if you don't do it that way, I almost think the team would turn against you. I think the team, if there's someone playing, that shouldn't be playing, everyone knows, because he's not working hard. He's not doing the right things. And I think if you put him on as a coach and you just go with him because he's a second year, the team will lose a bit of faith in you as a coach. So I think you should just do it on merit. Yeah. What do you guys think of that?
No, I agree. I agree with that. But I have a question. Do you think? Obviously, you said like playtime. That's like completely equal. But do you like expect different things from second years to first years, or is everyone just kind of like under 18s?
I think everyone's under 18s. I think I expect things from different people because everyone's a different person. Like, I don't expect the quietest kid in the room to have all the leadership responsibilities as someone that's been playing for years and years and years and has the knowledge. But I think there's like a base expectation for everyone that you have to meet, which we like call it the standards. You have these standards, you have to all do that. And then we're all different people with different personalities and we think different. So I think realizing that, don't always do a good job of realizing that, because sometimes you think someone's thinking a certain way, but they're actually not. And I jump to conclusions quite quick. So it's like trying to get to know the players more and what they're capable of and what you think you can push. Like, there'll be a kid that, you know, thinks he can't do something, but you know he can. So it's like pushing to like do that and stuff. And then there's other kids that think, yeah, I should take 1,000 shots and I can bring them back. But yeah, I think you should treat everyone different, and because everyone is different. But we always ask, what's next for you? So, like, obviously we've had two coaches. What next in their coaching? But what's next for you, playing wise, or anything in the future you think?
I think right now it's just, you know, take every game like a step at a time. You know, I think it's like easier for me to like think about the like end goal, or like making national cup or national championship and all sorts of stuff. But I feel like I need to start taking each game like one by one and understanding like before a game, okay, this is the game. Let's not think about anything else. Just focus on this game. And yeah, hopefully that will lead to us, the team that I'm in, doing well and eventually doing whatever we do. But this is my last year. I want to make sure I enjoy the season. I want to make sure I enjoy every game of the season, whether I play bad or good. But I just want to be a good teammate and continue to keep me with the team.
Okay. Well, thank you for watching, everyone. Thanks for coming on, Demi.